The world watches with bated breath as U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin prepare for a high-stakes phone call on March 18, 2025. The primary objective of this crucial conversation is to secure a 30-day ceasefire in the ongoing Ukraine war. This potential breakthrough comes after months of devastating conflict and escalating tensions between the global superpowers. The success of this call could pave the way for a more permanent peace agreement, offering a glimmer of hope to the war-torn region. Trump has expressed cautious optimism, stating that there is a very good chance of reaching an agreement with Putin. The U.S. president has been actively involved in diplomatic efforts to end the conflict, engaging in discussions with both Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and key international stakeholders. A 30-day ceasefire would not only halt the violence but also provide a much-needed window for negotiations and humanitarian aid to reach those in desperate need. The world waits anxiously to see if these two powerful leaders can find common ground and bring an end to the bloodshed. The stakes of this call cannot be overstated. The conflict in Ukraine has already claimed countless lives, displaced millions, and destabilized the entire region. A prolonged war would have devastating consequences not only for Ukraine and Russia, but for the entire world. The global economy has already been impacted by the conflict, and further escalation could lead to a wider conflict with unpredictable and potentially catastrophic consequences. The upcoming call between Trump and Putin is a critical moment in the search for peace in Ukraine. The world will be watching closely to see if these two leaders can rise to the occasion and find a way to end the bloodshed. The outcome of this conversation will have far-reaching implications for the future of international relations and the global order. The hope for a ceasefire and a path towards peace rests on the shoulders of these two powerful leaders. While a ceasefire represents a significant step towards peace, the path to a lasting resolution is fraught with challenges. The negotiations between Russia and Ukraine are expected to be complex and arduous, with both sides holding firm to their positions. Central to these discussions are the issues of territorial concessions by Kyiv and the control of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Ukraine has already signaled its willingness to consider territorial concessions as part of a peace deal, but the extent of these concessions remains a point of contention. Russia, on the other hand, has demanded guarantees of Ukraine's neutrality, exclusion from NATO, and limitations on its military capabilities. The control of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, Europe's largest, adds another layer of complexity to the negotiations. The future of the Donbas region, which has been at the heart of the conflict since 2014, is another major sticking point. Russia has recognized the independence of the self-proclaimed Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics in the Donbas, while Ukraine maintains its claim over the entire region. Finding a solution that addresses the concerns of both sides while respecting Ukraine's sovereignty will be a major challenge for negotiators. The international community also has a crucial role to play in these negotiations. The United States and its European allies have imposed severe sanctions on Russia in response to its actions in Ukraine. These sanctions have had a significant impact on the Russian economy, but they have also strained relations between the West and Russia. The international community is watching the planned Trump-Putin call with a mixture of hope and apprehension. The European Union in particular has been vocal in its condemnation of Russia's actions in Ukraine and has imposed sanctions in coordination with the United States. However, there are differing views within Europe on how to best engage with Russia and resolve the conflict. Some European leaders, such as French President Emmanuel Macron, have advocated for continued dialogue with Putin, arguing that isolating Russia will only exacerbate the situation. Others, such as German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, have taken a more hawkish stance, calling for increased military support for Ukraine and tougher sanctions against Russia. The United Kingdom has also emerged as a staunch supporter of Ukraine, providing military and financial assistance. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has called for Russia to be held accountable for its actions, and has urged the international community to remain united in its support for Ukraine. The UK's position on the conflict has been shaped by its own history with Russia, particularly in the wake of the Salisbury poisonings in 2018. The global implications of the Ukraine war extend far beyond Europe. The conflict has highlighted the fragility of the post-Cold War order and raised concerns about the potential for a wider conflict between nuclear-armed states. As the world awaits the outcome of the Trump-Putin call, public opinion remains divided. Many view the potential for a ceasefire as a positive development, offering a glimmer of hope for a peaceful resolution. However, skepticism remains high, with some fearing that any concessions made to Russia will be seen as a betrayal of Ukraine. The human cost of the conflict weighs heavily on the minds of many. The ongoing violence has resulted in countless civilian casualties, and the humanitarian situation in Ukraine continues to deteriorate. Millions have been displaced from their homes, and the war has had a devastating impact on the Ukrainian economy. The path to a lasting peace in Ukraine will be long and arduous. Even if a ceasefire is agreed upon, the underlying issues that led to the conflict will remain. Building trust between Russia and Ukraine will be essential, as will addressing Russia's security concerns without compromising Ukraine's sovereignty. The international community must remain engaged and committed to supporting a peaceful resolution. This includes providing humanitarian assistance to those affected by the conflict, as well as holding all parties accountable for their actions. The stakes are high, but the pursuit of peace must remain the ultimate goal. Subscribe to our channel for more updates and see you in the next video.